Hi, my name is Kamaya, and welcome to Seed and Soul Garden, where I show you how to grow big things in small spaces. So, today I am winter sowing for my spring garden. And what winter sowing is, it is a technique used by a lot of gardeners in order to start seeds in the winter when it is cold and the survival rate of a lot of seeds are at its lowest, especially spring seeds. So, what I'm going to be doing is doing my spring start peppers, different types of varieties that thrive really well in the springtime that won't thrive well now. I don't want to start in the spring because I already want my starts to be big enough to transplant by time that comes. So what I'm doing is I'm taking some dollar store containers, putting some holes in them, and throwing some soil, some seeds, and closing them up and hoping that this greenhouse effect helps them out when it is extra cold outside. It already started dropping in Texas below 30. My hands are freezing, but let's get started so we can have the best spring garden we can. So take a look at the setup real quick. I have my seeds and some gloves, my watering can, soil, knife, soldering iron, all that good stuff. So I can get some holes into these containers. I'll be using these dollar store containers. I'm using these old Glad food containers that we use to store our food, leftovers, and meal preps. They're old. I have a whole new set, so I just want to use those in the garden and give them a second life. My cat is traversing the backyard, and there is a dog in the neighbor's yard, and I am sort of entertained to see what happened. Our back door is open, so he can just run inside, and the dog's not gonna get out. But this is primo entertainment. Anyway, I'm going to solder the bottom of these to give them some holes, make them nice. And I don't have a pattern, rhyme, or reason. I'm just throwing some holes in here. I tried using a drill bit earlier and it did not work. If you go too fast, you might crack it. It is cheapy type plastic, but you know, $1.25, can't beat that. Let me speed this up as I run through that. Let me just give you a close-up of how I'm getting in here. I am going to pick my seeds first before I start doing the rest, so I have a game plan. So I really want to start my Scotch bonnet and some of my Spanish variety of peppers. I also want to get some yarrow going. I'm going to plant some Scotch bonnets, some Hungarian yellow wax Spanish variety peppers, some cayennes, some okra, and if I can find my yarrow, it's somewhere in here. It might be upstairs because I was documenting the process for that and trying to figure out how to get that going. I'm going to start out with these, kind of show you what the process looks like, and then we will continue from there. This right here is Back to the Roots Organic 3-in-1 seed starting potting mix. 3-in-1 has a little bit of perlite. This wind is picking up and blowing my seeds away. I just realized y'all can't see a thing I'm doing with the soil in front like that. So I am throwing some soil into these containers. I'm going to sow my seeds in here and then close them on up. I've seen all sorts of creators do different things, like reusable milk jugs, stuff like that, and I am inspired to reuse some of my old containers. But I also bought some larger ones just to make sure I had enough room for all the plants I plan on winter sowing. So now I'm going to wet these guys down. I prefer to sow in wet soil so I know that it's nice and thoroughly damp. I'm going to wet them up and then throw my seeds in. If everything doesn't just blow away. So now I'm going to take this, wet the soil up, and start to sow my seeds. So for my peppers, this is the Spanish variety. Hey, Bubba Cat, what you doing? Hey. What you doing, Garden Cat? These seeds, I opened the pack, fresh pack. This pack was given to me, and there's not a single seed in there. So, me thinking I had some seeds, I don't. So, we'll pivot. I have other peppers to grow. We'll do the cayenne, and I hear seeds in here. No wonder that pack was so late. Now I'm going to be growing this entire pack of cayenne seeds. I'm just kind of spreading out the seeds. I'll break them up when they are actual sprouts. And they need to be about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to throw a little bit more soil, not too much. The wind is freaking me out with this camera. I am going to sow cayenne in here, and now they need to be about 1/4 of an inch deep. So I'm just going to lightly dust some more soil on top and just cover up the seeds lightly, nothing too heavy. If it just needs to be sown on the surface, I just push it in with my fingers so I can still see some of the seeds. Just make sure it's ever so slight and light. We are going to put our top on here. So with the okra, these are larger seeds and they have to be sown about 1/4 of an inch. And these are definitely a spring crop. Probably won't sow all of them, just enough to get a few nice hardy and healthy plants. I'm just gonna dust some soil on top. Just to cover them up a little bit so they're not too deep or too much. So that's what I like, is you can always just take a little off. Just make sure you're not grabbing seeds when you do. And just push them in. And then you're gonna give it another drink when you're done with this. So these I'm excited for, these Scotch bonnets. About 1/4 of an inch deep. Oh, nice. These are really hot peppers. I'll probably sow all of them. I'm really excited because I can make some good Jamaican food with some Scotch bonnets. That's my palate. I love Jamaican food. My mom makes some really good Jamaican food. The spice, the peppers, that is all me. Love it. So just throwing them in here. Not too many peppers, so like probably wouldn't require this entire container to sow, but I want to make sure they have enough room and I can pick the plants apart. And here I'm just gonna kind of press them in a little bit. Some soil on top. So it's about 1/4 of an inch in. I'm gonna go ahead and just finish off this chamomile. Very tiny seeds. And they just need to be grown on the surface. And I'm gonna let this guy share a box with another surface grower. I say another surface grower. This is cilantro. So this is some basil that I'm just gonna throw in the middle. If this is a hodgepodge, if it grows, it grows. If it does not, it sucks to suck. I've never seen basil seeds like this. Interesting. And then I am gonna grow some of this Love in a Mist Miss Jekyll blends. These look really cute, and I think it'll make really great flowers for the front yard. They don't recommend you transplant them, so I like that I'm using this larger container, because if I do transplant, I can lay it in a larger pot. So, and I'm just gonna, they did say how unusual, there's a little dead bug in here, but I like the seeds. But I got these free from my local nursery, so it's nice to test out something without having to pay or, you know, spend my coin on it. And if it doesn't work out, I am not super upset, but I am learning, and I like to learn for free. It doesn't say how deep to sow these, so I'm just going to pat them down. And I think I sewed way too many in here, so I'll end up having to break them up. Alrighty, so now that I have all of my seeds sown into my containers, I am excited for the okra, the peppers, the cayenne, the scotch bonnets, my flowers, as well as my herbs. So yeah, that's it for today. If you like what you see, just go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next with some updates. Bye.